Good morning, everybody. My name is Bill Elverman, and it is my honor to be here with you today live from Manitou's North American headquarters, where we are celebrating today the arrival, the launch of Manitou's all-new large frame loader line, 3 skid steers, 2 compact track loaders that completely flip the script on what you think of when you think of Manitou skids and CTLs. In fact, Manitou has a number of industry exclusives that you may not know about that already make these machines stand out. And these new models take things to the next level with operating capacities, hydraulic power, and industrial design that stand toe-to-toe and in many cases beat some of the industry's leading names in compact loader manufacturing. These new models also play an important role in further filling out Manitou's complete line of machines, services, and attachments that make them one of the leading full-line equipment manufacturers in North America and the world today. From earth moving to material handling to working at height, Manitou and its dealer network produce a full range of equipment that makes it easier for you to standardize on a single supplier, whether you're in construction or rental, site development, or property management. Manitou is committed to producing the best for the best and supporting you every step of the way. You will see as we take a closer look at these machines at the thought and intention that went into every piece of their design. Noticing Manitou's commitment to quality, innovation, and lower total cost of ownership, all built with pride in South Dakota, which is why we're highlighting global innovation and North American craftsmanship throughout this launch. We look forward to sharing all of that with you over the course of the next 30 minutes or so. But first, some housekeeping here. This is a live event with 4 great panelists who we'll introduce you to here in just a moment. And there's a Q&A box here at the bottom of the screen. Please feel free to ask questions throughout the event today, and we'll ask our panelists those questions at the end of the presentation. If we don't get to your question during the broadcast today, we'll have the appropriate expert reach out to you after the event to follow up. Whether you're a Manitou customer, a dealer, a rental business, or a member of industry media, thank you for being here. These 5 new models represent all new engineering, design, and capabilities from Manitou, and we're excited to share them with you today. With that, I'd like to introduce you to the team that's joining us here today. Not just our global product manager, but a man with as impressive of a resume as anyone in the industry when it comes to skid steers and CTLs, and more than 20 years in design, engineering, and product management in the construction industry, the one and only Nathan Ryan. At Manitou, training is a sacred thing, focused on throughout all major product lines and disciplines, and we're excited to have technical training specialist Jose Carlos Braga Vasquez here with us today. And a launch like this wouldn't be complete without the presence of the man with the vision behind the design of these great new machines. As such, we're honored to have Manitou R&D Director Tyler Handel here with us today. And shortly, Mr. David Hunsley, Engineering Manager for Skids and CTLs at Manitou, will be joining us as well for the live Q&A. With that, let's get into it. Gentlemen, I'm going to start with Nathan here. We'll get back to you two in a minute. Nathan, we're standing here in between a skid steer and a CTL, although that is a really impressive looking CTL with the forestry package on it here. But we've got 2 great examples of the new product line. Why don't you tell folks at home a little bit about what it is we're introducing here today?
We're launching 5 new models, 3 skid steers and 2 track loaders, ranging in operating capacity from 3,250 pounds up to 3,600 pounds. We say that to highlight at the high end of this range, we are going head to head with the largest, most powerful machines in the industry.
And why is that, Nathan? Why are we designing skids and CTLs larger instead of pivoting to a larger piece of construction equipment at that point?
Well, Bill, there's definitely an industry demand for a larger frame machine. And even here at Manitou, what we would call an extra large frame machine. There's definitely an advantage in keeping them in the footprint of a skid steer or a compact track loader, as stepping up to even a larger style of construction equipment poses other challenges in terms of transportation and access, as well as other aspects. So that's why we look at making skid steer and compact track loaders bigger and better, because the operators are familiar with them, the transportation is easier, and you have better machine access. Plus, obviously, you have a wider variety of attachment capabilities.
So Nathan, both of these machines that we're standing by here are vertical lift machines. All 5 of the new machines are vertical lift. Why did Manitou go that direction?
When you're getting into a machine of this size, truck loading and unloading are critical. Material handling is critical. So the vertical lift path is better suited to both of those types of activities. The max hinge pin height on these machines is as high as 136 inches. So they are built for loading larger trucks and reaching higher. And you mentioned the operating capacities earlier. We are offering counterweights in addition to those capacities on these machines that provide rear and side protection, but also increase the rated operating capacities to as high as 3,800 pounds on the biggest of our track loaders.
So these are structurally well-built, strong machines, not only in rated operating capacity, but also in breakout force, going head-to-head with some of the biggest names in the industry with that breakout force, both at the bucket and the lift arms. Another area that I know has been of a big focus for Manitou at these machines is the auxiliary hydraulics. And when you look at, and we're going to talk a little bit about different features and such later that are standard, but auxiliary hydraulics has been a major focus on these large frame machines. Why was auxiliary hydraulics such a critical piece in the design of these machines?
Bill, we focus on auxiliary hydraulics, capabilities, and versatility extensively in these machines. And if you look at the hydraulic horsepower, so both flow and pressure, on both standard flow and high flow, we exceed most of the competition in these size classes, and we beat many of them in terms of actual pump flow, so gallons per minute. This all helps power those attachments that demand high performance. And we know it's as equally important to harness that hydraulic power from both an attachment performance perspective and from a fuel efficiency standpoint. So we've added the ability to variably control the amount of flow going to the attachment. This helps the attachment work to its optimal performance and makes the machine only work as hard as it needs to, which saves you fuel. And worth noting, on these machines we've built in an adjustable creep mode with a boost pedal there as well for attachments such as cold planers and brooms, where matching ground speed to desired performance is important. Then you're not limited solely to the speed of the attachment as directed by the engine RPM.
Well, I think it's worth noting to the people at home that we are going in many of these key performance metrics, not just meeting what the industry is doing, but we are exceeding many of the big competitors in the skid and CTL market.
That's true. And we've also focused on more extensive feature standardization on these machines, as well as across the board, to help make these the best machines available for rental businesses, fleet managers, business owners, as well as operators. When you're investing in a machine of this size, you expect to have a lot of those premium features built in and standardized. And that's what we do here at Manitou. Premium features like ride control, IdealTrax auto track tensioning system, the backup alarm, and bidirectional proportional auxiliary controls, as well as having all LED lights. We've made all of these and more standard equipment to simplify our ordering process and make these machines a premium addition to your fleet from the very first day.
Other standard features include the sloping roof, the contouring of the arms, and the way that the hydraulic lines are built into the arms of the machine. And Nathan, thank you for your time. We'll come back to you here in just a minute for the Q&A, but I think that's a good opportunity here to transition over to Mr. Tyler Handel, who is the R&D director here at Manitou, to talk a little bit about the design of these machines. And Tyler, I don't think I'm spilling any state secrets or talking out of school by saying that I think that in terms of design, these are some of the best looking, sharpest skid steers and CTLs that Manitou's ever brought to market. But I think even more important is to realize that this is not designed for design's sake. These are real practical innovations that are meant to improve the life and the capabilities of the operator.
Absolutely, Bill. I might be a little biased, but I think we have one of the best looking lineups on the market now that matches the rugged durability and performance of the machine with a really modern and industrial look. That starts with the cab and the design of some of the most critical elements pertaining to operator comfort and visibility. As you can see, the cab roof slopes forward to minimize that front cab crossmember and the upper blind spot that the cab structure creates. Combine that with the oversized skylight in this new cab design. This new design provides great visibility when working with a bucket or fork at height. Match that with the vertical lift arm design of these new machines. It makes them ideal for loading and unloading trucks and trailers. Arguably, the most distinctive design element of these machines is also the most simple and with the clearest benefit. These innovative patent-pending lift arms designs slope away from the machine where the operator sits as they sit inside the cab. This reduces the amount of material that can get stuck on the lift arm, and most importantly, it improves the visibility both above and below the lift arm. Similarly, the rear visibility is enhanced with the new sleek lift arm rear cross member. Combine that with this new vertical lift arm design and add in an optional rear view camera, and you've really eliminated all the blind spots around the machine.
So you can look good and see good at the same time.
I think that many people in the industry are familiar with our Ideal Access door, which is a folding style door that eliminates the clearance required for a traditional swing out door. So when an operator is utilizing certain attachments or carrying a load that doesn't allow the lift arm to go all the way down, the foldable Ideal Access door allows the operator to open and close the door without coming into contact with the lift arm structure, the coupler, or the attachment. And unlike competitive single piece roll-up doors, the operator maintains their full headroom as the door stores in front of the operator. Having said that, we do still offer a traditional glass swing out door and an impact resistant front door that must be specified if you're using attachments such as mulchers or cutters that have flying debris. As you walk around the machine, you'll see these low profile, high intensity LED lights positioned at the front, rear, and side of the machine. They really light up the area 360 degrees around the machine, giving the operator the visibility they need and making the machine more visible on the job site as well. And we could take that up at another level with additional four-way flashers, LED road lights, and even a beacon light option to ensure optimal visibility on the job site.
Yeah, because we know on many of today's job sites with so many people and machines, it's as important that that machine is seen by others as it is the operator's ability to see out of it.
And we also really like the optional level 2 FOP structure with light guards, perfect for those heavy duty applications like mulching or land clearing, and even scrap and recycling operations where you're dealing with loose materials that are big and awkward to manage and handle and can come back and hit the machine.
We'll talk about the cab a little bit more here in a second, but while we're standing here, and I gotta tell you, I really love what you folks have done with the forestry package, the protection on this machine for applications such as mulching. That winch is pretty strong and mean looking, but one of the things that I've always been impressed with your product line is the IdealTrax track tensioning system. And we know that the industry is moving more and more towards rubber track machines. You guys have made some additional changes to the way that the track is designed. Would you like to kind of share with folks what has been done to the tracks to improve performance?
For sure, Bill. We all know, just like larger equipment like bulldozers in the industry, the undercarriage is a critical component in these track machines. This is where we spent a lot of cost and value has been tied into the design of the machine. And if the undercarriage is not robust and reliable, then the machine is not robust and reliable. So we really put effort into upgrading and enhancing the undercarriage on this new platform to ensure these machines can hold up in the toughest conditions. That includes dual flange idlers that are optimally spaced with triple flange rollers to reduce operator vibration and create one of the most reliable and easiest undercarriage systems in the market to maintain. And you mentioned IdealTrax. IdealTrax is one of the critical new features on these machines that provide auto track tensioning system that is standard equipment to maintain proper track tension all the time, significantly reducing the time to swap or reinstall the tracks in the field. And we have made one critical update to the new track undercarriage system. You can now adjust the track tension from inside the cab through to the display and operator interface.
Since you brought it up, Tyler, let's take a look at this cab next. I'm gonna climb up in here. It is a big and spacious cab. To give you an idea, I'm 6'2", 230, and when you sit in here, there's a lot of space. And the thing that immediately jumped out to me as I've had a little chance to operate these is that is a great monitor you've got there.
Yeah, Bill, we've really focused on redesigning this cab to be roomy and focus on operator comfort, and the display was a critical piece of that new design element. The new 7-inch color display with optional rear view camera integrated into the display, in addition to being bright, clean, and really intuitive to use, it serves as a centralized hub for many of the critical machine functions, including variable auxiliary hydraulics, which is a new feature for us. You can adjust the creep mode settings. You can even change the intervals for the auto reversing fan right through the display interface. All critical machine functions and information, system temperatures, fluid levels, maintenance intervals, all that critical machine information is right there at the operator's fingertips in the display.
And if I understand here correctly, Tyler, there's actually something quite unique about this great keypad here on the right side.
We really focused in the new design of these machines to focus on simplifying the operator experience by integrating all the machine controls into the seat assembly for easy access. The multifunction keypad integrates well with the new display, and the new jog dial you see allows the operator to utilize the machine functions via the keypad or navigating the display interface with the jog dial. The keypad also has really intuitive lighting indication that guides the operator through startup of the machine. That new feature is really patent pending for us and provides a really intuitive operator experience with an ergonomic keypad. It allows all the features including keyless start and even a security code for entry to keep the machine safe from theft.
Yeah, and I've had a little bit of an opportunity here to operate this new lineup, and something that has really impressed me has been the responsiveness of the controls. What would you tell folks about the controls here?
Each of these machines features patented pilot controls that are mounted to the seat assembly to provide ergonomic access to the controls no matter where you sit in the cab. And we know these machines operate in a lot of difficult and tough terrains and environments. We wanted to ensure that we provide the operator with a comfortable operating experience. A lot of these creature comforts and things may otherwise be considered bells and whistles, but we felt these were critical to these machines. That includes a smart throttle that controls the acceleration of the hand throttle. It also takes into effect critical factors such as cold weather delay to help the machine during a cold startup and protect the hydraulic system. We've also included a foot pedal now that can be set up as both a foot throttle but also a deceleration pedal for those loading applications. We've also added a unique drain at the bottom of the foot area you'll see there. Provides easy clean out of the dirtiest part of the cab where that material builds up from the guy's boots and debris. And like many machines today, we're taking a lot of cues from the automotive world. You'll find Bluetooth radio in these machines, a lot of storage space, cup holders for your coffee or cold energy drink, USB charging ports for your cell phone. A lot of the comforts you see in pickup trucks today, we've added into this new lineup of skid steer and CTLs.
Yeah, and between the way that the controls move with the seat, the adjustability of the seat, the cab is really impressive to work in. And you know, I think as you look at the machine as a whole, Tyler, you folks have really, and your team should be proud of themselves. They have really designed these machines with intent and a focus on what the operator is doing every day.
That's for sure, Bill. We've certainly listened to our customers and operators and focused on developing a versatile and reliable model lineup that focuses performance on productivity, efficiency, and operator comfort.
I think that's as good an opportunity as any here, Tyler, to transition to our favorite topic here at Manitou, which is total cost of ownership, or more specifically, lowering total cost of ownership. Thank you for your time,
Thanks,
Tyler. With that, we're going to transition over here to our friend Jose Carlos Braga Vasquez, technical training specialist here at Manitou, to talk a little bit about total cost of ownership and what Manitou is doing in this new lineup. And I think, you know, when I think of total cost of ownership at Manitou, I go back to a conversation that I had with Steve Kiskunis. And if you've ever talked to Steve, he speaks with a lot of passion. And when he said that Manitou does not introduce a new machine to the market if it does not lower total cost of ownership, he meant it. I mean, that is a driving force in every machine that Manitou produces. And if a machine doesn't do that for the customer, you don't bring that machine to market. Has that same spirit gone into the design of these new machines?
Lower TCO is our guiding mission here at Manitou, and that is reflected in these new large frame skid steers and CTLs.
Jose, I'm going to open up the back end of this machine here, which includes a great toolless rear cover over the back fan there. But why don't you talk folks through a little bit about how we're lowering total cost of ownership through the design of this machine?
For sure. One of the most important and practical things is serviceability, easy access to all the critical daily checks and service points. As you look at the back of the machine here, you will see that everything is intuitively spaced and placed, and all critical checks and fields are easily accessible. We talked about an auto reversing fan earlier, and here you see how the fan is placed for optimal airflow. And its tuned-up design allows to easy clean outs and access. And you notice around the machine, easily accessible grease works to make sure that daily grease applications are happening. Arguably the most important daily service activity in the life of a machine.
Manitou always does a very good job of being very deliberate in the placement and design of not only the service areas, but really every piece of this machine. Why don't we tell the folks at home a little bit about other ways in which Manitou is making these ideal for customers when it comes to total cost of ownership?
We look at a total cost of ownership as a compounding benefit. There are numerous things that you can do to get most of each machine. But when you combine those many things together, you can significantly lower your operating costs and increase your revenue, earning more and spending less over the service life of that machine. Let's look, for instance, the way that we can increase your revenue. At Manitou, we offer a full and comprehensive line of attachments. And these machines with the auxiliary hydraulics capability are excellent carriers for attachment use, particularly for applications that you may have used a subcontractor for in the past. Tools like mulchers, coat planers, and snow blowers all have the ability to increase that machine's overall utilization, which drives revenue up. The best way to lower total cost of ownership is to increase your revenue.
Jose, how about telematics? What options do you have to offer contractors and business owners for telematics on these machines?
We offer telematics as standards on these machines through our Manitou app. This allows business owners and fleet managers to stay better connected to the health, performance, and efficiency of each machine. That information is easily viewed through the browser on your desktop, phone, or tablet. And you can also share with your dealer so they can help you to keep ahead of maintenance activities. We also offer a full complement of service both before and after the sale to help manage the full cycle of the machine. From financing package on the beginning of the machine's life, to reman, to extended coverage package, and other programs as the machine starts to age. All of those elements working together, when deployed properly, take significant steps toward lowering your total cost of ownership, from minimizing downtime to strategically scheduling preventive maintenance activities, to ensure overall machine health and even helping with retained value when you turn this out to the secondary market. We have the full toolbox of solutions to help you to be successful whenever you're a landscaper, have civil contractor, or own a rental business.
Manitou can be your full line partner. You see the full lineup of equipment behind us. Whether you're a rental business, a contractor, Manitou has a full line of solutions and products to serve your business from top to bottom. And with that, we have, and hang out with us here for a little bit, Jose, we have a lot of good questions that are starting to line up. We're gonna bring back out our panelists here for a Q&A session to give you the opportunity to ask questions of our participants. Get those questions in now. But before we do that, we're gonna take a quick spin through each of the 5 new models and their back of the baseball card stats. We'll be back here in just a moment. Welcome everybody to, again, a beautiful summer afternoon, morning here in Wisconsin. Feels almost like a fall day. Thank you again for joining us here for our live Q&A action here with the launch of the all-new large frame loaders from Manitou. Thank you again for joining us. As we mentioned before, you have a Q&A box down there at the bottom of your screen. Don't be afraid of it. Drop questions in. We're going to spend the next 15, 20 minutes or so talking with the gentleman that you see here with me and taking your questions. If we run out of time and don't get a chance to answer your questions, we'll follow up with you after the event. I want to take a moment here quickly to introduce a gentleman who we haven't heard from here yet today. Mr. David Hunsley, engineering manager here on the skid steer and CTL product line with Manitou. More than 25 years experience here at Manitou. David, you've seen the evolution of these machines through the years. What are you most excited about when you look at bringing these new machines to market?
Hi, thanks. Yeah, this is our great opportunity to offer this large frame vertical lift loader that goes up to 114 horsepower. We really listened to the voice of the customer on this loader and tried to give the customer what they wanted in a large frame vertical lift loader that takes a lot of the medium frame attributes that people have recognized as solid performers in the market and brought it up to the larger family.
That's great, Dave, and I want to again just kind of welcome people in here. There's a couple of easy questions we can handle right off the bat, but first just a couple welcomes. Ted DeHaan with Elite Field Service said he was excited to be here. We're excited to have you, Ted. Cody Cox, the owner of Steel Construction, says he's looking forward to the larger loaders. We are looking forward to them as well. And a lot of great partners here. Tony Schroffnagel, Dean Weaver with Agritier, Kevin Miller with Penn Equipment. Everybody here, thank you for taking the time to join us. Jose, I want to start out with a question here that came in that I think would be well suited for you and kind of touches on that total cost of ownership message. What has Manitou done specifically to make service easier and to make sure that you're being more proactive and dealing with fault codes and things in a faster manner?
Yes, Manitou did add to the onboard display a diagnostic page that we can easily and faster access the inputs and outputs page. So now the technician can know right on board who's in the display, what functions are working or not on a machine.
Bobby Green, you've got a question here. Is the cooling fan on the V3350 reversible? The reversible fan is an option on these. Nathan, would you like to describe how
I'll let David handle it.
Yeah, yes, it's reversible. It has a couple of different features. You can put it in auto reverse mode where you can select the time. You know, it can reverse every 5 minutes if that's what you choose to do, up to every 45 minutes. Or you can take it off auto mode and just manually hit the reverse button. Sometimes you might pull up to your house. My wife don't like it when that reversing fan kicks on and blows the dust all over the driveway. So, you know, that's the time when you maybe don't want it on auto mode. But yeah, it'll blow the material right out the back door and cleans that radiator off for you.
and helps make sure that you're not retaining heat in that engine compartment, which is going to help components last longer. One of our great industry journalists, Keith Gribbins, here with us today. Keith with the hard questions here. He wants to know, why is Manitou sticking with pilot controls? Seems like a lot of the industry is moving to EH for easier automation. Do customers still really enjoy the controllability of pilot controls?
I can take that one, Bill. And I would say the customer preference is for pilot controls. I've been in the industry for a long time. I've been part of developing EH controls for machines. And when you're in development of a EH system, you always use pilot as your benchmark. And to me, that says that pilot is always going to be your best control. It's what the customers want. It gives them a little bit of a feel for what they're pushing with the machine, as well as it gives them a nice one-to-one response. Now, you start to run into technology coming in where you're getting a lot of features and some benefits, such as load, kick out, return to dig, switchable control patterns. So there will be a trade-off. So we can accomplish some of those things with pilot controls and using additional sensors and technology. But right now we're listening to our customers, and they're still telling us that the pilot control systems are what we prefer. Going forward, we'll have to evaluate as the features become more standard throughout the industry if there's an opportunity to switch to EH. But right now, we're listening to our customers, and that is what they like.
Michael Butterfield here, he makes a very good point about the machine standing behind me. He says, I see side mirrors on that track machine with the brush mulcher. Those will be the first thing destroyed in doing right-of-way work or mulching work. Isn't there a built-in camera system that is on all the time. I think it's important to note these are some of the first in line display models, so we're showcasing some of what's available. I think correct, we wouldn't have that side mirror on in a true mulching application. What would you say to Michael's feedback there?
I'd say Michael is exactly right. So we're set to go into production in October with these loaders, and these are some of the first machines. We use them on multiple job sites for multiple countries. So yes, we have mirrors on that loader, but they would be the first thing to go if you take it into a forestry or demolition application.
Couple of questions here. I'm going to meld them into one around the foot pedal and the creep control. How does that foot pedal interact with creep mode and just the overall operation of that machine when using attachments?
So when you're using your creep mode, obviously it slows the entire machine down but gives you full throw of your joystick. However, when you're coming up on, and this is one of the drawbacks of pilot controls that we've overcome with innovative solutions, if you're coming up to a slope and you start to go up the slope with pilot controls, we have to pedal to help increase that ground speed a little bit so you maintain the same speed. Another application where this would come handy is if you're cold planing some asphalt and run into a really dense area of the asphalt, you can overcome that density or denser material with the creep mode to give you a little bit of an extra boost and maintain your productivity.
Another of our industry's great journalists, Kathy Wells. Hi, Kathy. Wish you were here. I'm sure it's cooler here than it is in Alabama. Kathy wants to know what is Manitou's strategy for working these large frame machines into the rental market? And then there's a similar follow-up question where they asked almost the exact same thing, but they specified independent rentals, so the more smaller mom and pop organizations. What is the overall strategy with rental with these machines, and how would you address those two different segments of that same rental market?
Well, we look at rental, we have several different aspects of their business that we're trying to appease and accommodate. And so one of them is the secondhand market for those machines when they're ready to dispose of the assets. And for that, we allow the machines to be configured several different ways. You can get a very basic machine that doesn't include a lot of features, doesn't include a closed canopy or cabin, but you can also upgrade these to be fully loaded, because we are seeing some of the machines from the smaller rental shops go into auctions and or retailed to their customers. And so those secondhand customers are looking for a more well-equipped machine. So we offer both the large chain rentals and the smaller rental shops the opportunity to configure the machine so that they can best get the most value out of their asset when they're done using it. And then to help their customers is another aspect when we look at the rental market. And for that, we really focus on transportability and the daily maintenance that they rely on their customers to perform for them. So with these machines, we've increased the tie downs, the number of them and the sizes of them to make it easier to get the machine on and off your trailer for working multiple job sites. And then from the daily maintenance aspect, you can look at some of the features like very open engine compartment to check everything, the greasable pins on the machine, so that even if a customer is not that familiar with the piece of equipment, he doesn't have to spend time looking for grease zerks along the machine. You can simply walk around the edge of the machine and they're very visible, very accessible, so those customers are performing the required daily maintenance to keep that machine up and running for those rental businesses.
And I think another thing, not to put words in your mouth, Nathan, but a big part of this launch has been the attachment strategy. And I think a rental business's attachment use ups that utilization rate and makes it more attractive, more rentable, higher utilization. How do you see auxiliary hydraulics playing into rental demand, and do you see a greater demand for attachments matched with machines of this size?
Yes, for sure. Essentially, skid steers and track loaders are power units, right? They can either be used for grading with a bucket, Otherwise, you're going to need the auxiliary hydraulics for operating those attachments. With these machines, these larger machines, we've taken an opportunity, because they're at a little bit higher of a price point than the small machines, to incorporate a very robust and very versatile auxiliary hydraulic system. And some of the versatility we mentioned in the video earlier was the variability control. So you can go in and you can optimize your hydraulic flow for the attachment, and that includes detenting it at different levels, anywhere along the spectrum of 0% up to 100%. And let's not forget that 100% is one of the highest performing high flow hydraulic systems in the market at 40 GPM and with incredible pressure around 3,500 PSI. You're getting more horsepower out of these loaders than you do against most of the competition.
And I think you may have just answered this next question, but I want to say this dude's company name here. I want the t-shirt, I want the hat. Tom O'Reilly with Black Dog Stump Grinding and Forestry Mulching out of Carson, Virginia. Great name, Tom. He says, good morning, I operate a mulcher. What GPM and pressure and high flow for the largest machine? You answered that, but there was also another question about if it needs any additional cooling. For people who would use this package more generally for mulching consistently, what else can you share about how it'll stand up to those really harsh conditions?
Well, for sure. If you see the machine here behind us, it's a brand new option. For years, our customers have been going to third parties and getting additional parts made to accommodate a site preparation package. And so we've developed one internally that's designed for this machine and works very optimally with our design. We've tested these machines down in Texas under some of the highest heat load possible. We also have a fully loaded climate control room within here where we put the machine on a dynamometer and we load up the hydraulic system to the worst case scenario, and we've had great results. But we know out in the field sometimes solar loading and really extreme extended use of the machine can overheat hydraulic systems. Therefore, we are investigating hydraulic package additional cooling. We're just not sure if it's required yet, but we'll be ready with something should the need arise.
Great feedback, and I love when we get live feedback like this. Paul Hansen, going back to your answer about pilot controls, Paul says, great answer on the pilot controls. Our customers in California prefer pilot over electric controls. Electric controls over hydraulic controls have a delay that for working close to houses, which our customers don't like. He encourages Manitou to stay with the pilot controls. Thanks for contributing to the conversation there, Paul. A couple of questions here about what are the, we didn't mention the engine brands in these machines. What engines are available in this lineup of large frame models?
I'll let Dave explain our strategy a little bit there. So we do have a couple of choices.
Yes, so for the 325 loader, we do have the Yanmar engine. It's 72 horsepower. The nice thing about that engine is it is below that 75 horsepower cutoff where you need to use DEF and some of the other emissions. So that gives the customer a great low horsepower, large frame loader. And then the two loaders behind me both have the Deutz engine, one at 100 horsepower turbocharged and 114 for the largest loader.
There's a good amount of attention to the loader arms, and you can understand why. They're unique looking, and as we mentioned in the initial walk around, not only do they look cool, but they're real functional. But a specific question about, what additional thought went into that around how that's going to shed material so that it doesn't build up. And I guess I would just add to that and say, how did you know that was the right contour? What thought went into that specifically around material not building up on the loader arms?
Right, so a lot of thought, patent pending lift arm, a lot of work on CAD that started with their medium frame loader, to shed that material off of that arm, and then, you know, calculated 15 to 20% improved visibility right from the common seat index for the average operator. All you need to do is get in that loader and see it, and to appreciate the visibility you have with a loader this size. Most people feel like they're in a cave, and they get concerned when they're working around buildings. When you sit in this loader, you don't have that feeling at all. You're out in the open. You feel like you know where your boundaries are on your machine, because the visibility around that lift arm and through the back of the lift arm it's just amazing. You really do have to experience it. Most operators, when they get out of this loader, they just got a huge grin on their face because they can't believe the power they have and the visibility and performance that it gives them.
Yeah, I was shocked the first time I sat in this forestry package unit. I've been operating skid steers my whole life. It feels like it's the best visibility that I've ever seen in a machine of this size by far. It's really well done. And speaking of the cabs, another question here, how specifically is the cab different than other Manitou models? And similar to what's been asked before, will that cab design be applied towards other models as they are updated in the future? I guess just to boil that down, if you had to really dial in on the top 2 or 3 things that you think people will notice are different compared to the previous generation of large frame models, what would they be?
So the number one thing that everybody will notice on this cab is our fold-up door. Again, best in the industry. You can get in there and use that door effortlessly. It comes up, down, inside and out of the machine with very little effort. And then the next thing again is the visibility. Visibility out the top of the cab. These machines lift 11 feet high with amazing reach. Again, this is the only loader where you can see that full bucket edge when you're dumping it into a truck. We have, our skylight up top. It is the same cab as the medium frame loader, so I'm sure if you have any experience with that loader, you'd notice the visibility again out the top sides of the cab. And then I think we've already touched on it with the seat mounted joysticks that, go with the operator. Again, another nice feature for the operator in the cab.
Point of business question here. When will these machines be available in the U.S.? And is there a market for these machines outside of the U.S.? I think we think of these in a very big way as a North American product, but how would we answer that question?
Well, we're targeting production start at the end of September and then through October. So I would say I would like to see these machines out at dealers before the end of November. That way you're all ready to work in the spring, next spring. As far as the market goes, we know that track loaders are primarily a North American product line. So about 90% of the market for this size loaders is in North America. That being said, we will be exporting some to the various other countries. It's just not as big of a market outside of North America. It's a little bit different story on the wheel loaders, but still, for the most part, true. The percentages are probably lower, and there is the best opportunity here in North America for the large wheel loaders, but you do see higher percentage going out to other countries with the wheel loaders, so the split's a little bit different.
Okay. Couple of questions here about machine control. We are seeing generally in the industry more 2D, 3D solutions being used with compact equipment. What would your general comment be about the compatibility of these machines with machine control technologies?
With the grading technologies?
Yep.
So most of our grading technology right now is part of our attachments platform. You get the correct equipment for it. In the future, we'll be looking at incorporating it more into the machine, but for right now, that's a very expensive system, and so incorporating it or providing the capability to install it within the machine adds to the overall cost for everybody, and so we prefer to keep that cost bundled with the attachment for the guys that really want to use that attachment.
Someone's paying very close attention. Our cameras are really pulling out the detail here. They say, I see key locks on the doors, but push button start. Is there or will there be a key start option?
There is a key start option for these today. There are certain municipalities that require a key because they have multiple people using the machines throughout the day. Maybe they have new hires that don't know the codes. So there are the opportunities out there that require a keyed start, and that is available on both our medium frame and our large frame loaders today.
Combining a couple of questions here, people like me who grew up on H-pattern machines, if someone really likes these machines but wants an option to convert or adjust it to H-pattern, is there any option there, or will there be any options in the future?
Yeah, so that goes back to talking about the technology and finding ways to mimic the benefits you get from an EH system, but keep the controls our customers want in pilot. So we do have H-pattern available on both the medium and large frame loaders, and you can retrofit machines in the field as well to be a H-pattern loader for you.
I feel like we've already covered this, but there's been a lot of interest in this machine, so I want to make sure we hit these hard, and we're coming up on an hour here, guys. This has been a great conversation. We're going to take a few more questions, and whatever we don't get to, the folks here will follow up with you after the show. But again, specific to this, are reversing fans and impact resistant front and side glass available now? And I think we were talking earlier about maybe sharing with folks how they can go about ordering this package. So is it available now, and how would people go about ordering this package they see here?
So the machines themselves are available to order today. The site preparation package, which includes the side windows, impact windows, the impact front door, impact rear window, the deflectors, the rear heavy-duty bash guard door, and all the other things that go into the site preparation package are still getting bundled together. So I would expect them to be available maybe within the next month or two as production starts. Unfortunately, I don't think they'll be retrofittable in the field, but our salespeople have been informed how you can best order machines that will be ready and capable to have the machine updated.
A couple of people here in the comments section excited about IdealTrax now being adjustable through the monitor. A couple questions about videos and showing that work. We will be releasing a number of videos over the next few weeks that'll show more and more of the featurization on these machines. But would you guys be able to explain fairly simply here how they'll go about changing or making sure that the track tension is where it needs to be within the monitor?
That's the beauty of the IdealTrax tension system. You don't have to make sure the tension is where it needs to be. The machine does it for you. And it's a system we came out, we love it, our customers love it. And we were standing around the engine compartment one day and we saw the switch and we thought, well, we have a new display that has more capabilities. Why do we still have a switch? We can put it right in the display for our customer. He doesn't have to leave the seat. If he's ever nervous that he forgot to retension the system, he can just check it on the monitor. And it just seemed like a no-brainer at that point. So it's an improvement on an already great system within the market.
These models are being manufactured in South Dakota. You want to tell the folks at home which plants these are being manufactured at?
So all of our skid loaders and track loaders built in North America are being manufactured now in our Madison, South Dakota plant, which is very near Sioux Falls. Very proudly, I mean, part of our tagline, as Bill said earlier, global innovation with North American craftsmanship.
Built proudly in South Dakota. Just a couple last questions here. We'll get you out of here before lunch hour for you folks on the East Coast. And we don't want to take up more than an hour of your time here. Just to be clear for the folks at home, with the 5 new models coming out, which models are being replaced and which are truly new models in the lineup?
Our current large frame machines that are being replaced are your V330 or 3300V, and then on the track loader side, it's the 3200V. They're being replaced. The 3300V is replaced by a 3250V, so it's a low horsepower but large frame machine. And then the 3200 VT is being replaced by the 3350 VT. But like you said, there's 5 models, so we have some exciting new models in the 3350V and the 3600V on the wheel side, and then on the track side, a bigger model. We've never had a track loader that big, as the 3600 VT. So we're really excited to bring those. They each present some interesting opportunities and capabilities for our customers, and they're new models in our large frame offering.
Perfect question to end it here, and I'm going to put each of you on the spot, but the folks at home would like to know, and it's beautiful because you each serve a different role within the process of the design and engineering of these machines. What would each of your favorite top industry disrupting features on these machines be from your perspective? What do you think is the one thing that's going to make people stand up and notice Manitou with these machines?
In my opinion, they're best looking machine on the market. I mean, just look at them. And then that size to weight ratio, superior, you know, the power you get and the performance that you can achieve with the lift height and the reach. I don't know if we've even talked about the large fuel tanks and the load sense pump that creates the fuel efficiency that is, you know, top notch. You can run all day with this loader, get a lot of work done with it.
I think it's the cab. I'm a little biased. My engineering days were designing cabs, but this is a heck of a cab, and you sit in there, the visibility, the comfort, the space you have everywhere within the cab, it's unparalleled in the industry. It's just an amazing feature or comfort, and then you add in things like the fold-up door, the optional swing-out doors, the controls that move with the seat. You know, these are patented, innovative features that Manitou has developed, and it just makes the operator feel comfortable all day.
Jose?
To me, definitely is the variable displacement pump, hydraulic pump, and also the hydraulic valve with flow sharing that gives the machine the ability to use the hydraulic power, only the necessary power for each of the hydraulic movements.
Thank you, gentlemen, and thank you all at home for joining us here today for what we dubbed the Arrival, and I hope that we've shown you here in the last hour. We mentioned earlier that none of this is designed for design's sake. The whole team here, Tyler, who you heard from earlier, very intentionally built every piece of these machines from the ground up in a great modern and industrial design. And it really further fills out Manitou's place in the market as more of a full line provider, whether you're a rental business, you're a large national account, you're a small to medium-sized business, from skid steers and CTLs to front end loaders to forklifts and telehandlers. Manitou has solutions for most every business that operates equipment here in the United States, and a great dealer network, many of whom joined us here today to go along with it. Thank you all for joining us here today. We will follow up after the event here with a recording of this event and more information on this exciting new lineup of large frame loaders from Manitou. On behalf of everyone here in West Bend, Wisconsin, thank you very much. Have a great day.